They say some books are best left unopened, some secrets better left buried. For Ayaan, a young scholar with an insatiable thirst for forgotten lore, this was a lesson he was about to learn the hard way. His story begins not in a grand library or a mystical tower, but in the dusty backroom of a forgotten antique shop, where he stumbled upon a book bound in what looked like petrified wood, its cover adorned with a single unblinking obsidian eye. It had no title, no author, only a strange, almost magnetic pull that he couldn't resist. He took the book to his favorite reading spot, a quiet bluff on the edge of town known as Blackridge Hill. The locals spun tales about the hill, stories of strange lights and whispers on the wind, but Ayaan dismissed them as folklore. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long, dancing shadows, he finally pried the ancient tome open. The pages were brittle, filled with a language he had never seen before, yet somehow, instinctually, he could understand it. The words flowed from his lips, not as a conscious act of reading, but as if the book itself was speaking through him. He felt a tremor beneath his feet, a low, guttural vibration that seemed to emanate from the very heart of the hill. Panic began to set in, but the book held him captive, its script glowing with an eerie emerald light. The ground before him split open, not violently, but with a slow, deliberate groan. From the fissure, a colossal form began to emerge. Scales the color of midnight, horns that twisted towards the heavens like charred branches, and eyes that burned with the fury of a dying star. A dragon, it stretched its massive wings, letting out a roar that shattered the evening calm, a sound of ancient power finally unleashed. Ayaan was frozen, a cocktail of pure terror and awe coursing through his veins. He had done this. He had awakened a creature of myth. The dragon turned its massive head, its gaze locking onto him. But there was no malice in its eyes, no hunger. There was something else, recognition and fear. It spoke, its voice a deep rumble that resonated in his chest, not in words, but in pure thought. You have broken the first seal, little mortal. Before Ayaan could even process the meaning, the dragon's gaze shifted towards the horizon. He was the guardian, the voice echoed in his mind, the sentinel. Ayaan followed its gaze and saw something that made the sight of a living dragon seem trivial. The sky was tearing, cracks of sickly purple energy spread across the twilight, like a shattered mirror. From these rifts, things began to pour out, creatures of nightmare, beings of shadow and chaos that defied description. They were the terrors the dragon had been holding back. The book fell from Ayaan's trembling hands. The obsidian eye on its cover now glowed with a triumphant, malevolent light. He hadn't just found a book, he had been chosen by it. He hadn't just awakened a dragon, he had released its prisoner and, in doing so, unleashed its jailers. The dragon let out another roar, but this time it wasn't a sound of freedom. It was a call to arms, a desperate cry against the tide of darkness now flooding their world. Ayaan looked from the terrified, majestic beast to the apocalyptic sky. His quest for knowledge had ended. His fight for survival had just begun. He was no longer just a scholar. He was the boy who had broken the world. What happens when the key to ancient knowledge is also the key to your world's destruction? This is just the beginning of Ayaan's journey. If you want to see how he and the dragon face the horrors they've unleashed, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You won't want to miss what comes next. Thanks for watching.